Welcome to Let's Talk Boundaries, as I have a conversation of transformation and healing with the phenomenal Vitelle, actor and producer for Us3 Productions, who is embracing her calling through a powerful one-woman show. Through her artistry, she helps others heal from childhood trauma, proving that storytelling can change lives. Stay tuned for an inspiring dialogue with a woman turning pain into purpose. Well, hello. Welcome to Let's Talk Boundaries. This is Pamela Bird, your boundaries coach. And do I have a guest for you today? Today, my guest is Vitelle, and Vitelle is a one-woman show actress. She's so much more than an actress, but she has a story that not only does she have to tell, but she's taken this story and spreading it all throughout the world. So I want to introduce you to Miss Vitelle, and if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself so they know who you are.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Well, you introduced me so well. I don't know what's much more I can say. But yes, like she mentioned, I'm an actress first. That's what I've been doing for more than 20 years now. But I'm also a producer, director. I have a production company called Us3 Productions. So I'm the CEO and founder of that, as well as a nonprofit called Feed the Homeless Tour. I'm a mom. I do a whole lot of things.
You
As you can see,
multitask.
I'm multitasking all the time, even now. But yeah, so but my main purpose and reason for being and for everything that I do using my talents is to help other people, especially to help other people to heal. So that's what it's all about for me. And there's power in the message, and using my gifts and talents to communicate that message is my main reason for being. So yeah.
This is beautiful because we all know in the show that what I do is I talk about boundaries. I talk about setting healthy boundaries, and I talk about overcoming childhood traumas. And on that journey, there's so many things that we have to be mindful of. And Vital, you have taken your experiences from your past and you have created this one woman show. Tell us a little bit about how you came up with that and what is the goal with this show.
So originally how I came up with it is because the pandemic happened. So I published my book, which is I Am a Poetic Ensemble here, and it's a
Beautiful.
memoir of my life written in poetry format. It is also a self-help book. So that's where it started, telling my
Mhm.
story for the first time. And then I knew I wanted to turn this into a show. Every book that I plan to produce ever is going to be a movie, a show, a whole experience in
Mhm.
itself. Once you read the book, then you go from there. So I was ready to do that. And then, like I said, the world shut down. Pandemic happened. I couldn't hire a cast, crew. I couldn't do all the things that I normally would do. So I said, well, I guess I got to do all of it then.
Wow.
So that's kind of how it ended up being a one woman show in the first place. It wasn't intentional, but it all just started coming together. God started downloading the idea to me, and it was just like, whoa, what is this? Like, I just saw it as so much bigger than anything I could have ever imagined to do. And it
Mhm.
terrified me. I didn't want to do it at first. I said, no, get somebody else to do it. That's too much. But, I eventually reluctantly said yes, and I started moving forward in it. And it's just come to be so much bigger than what it started out as. We started out on Zoom, obviously, because of the pandemic.
Mhm.
But after that, it hit the stages, and now we're on a whole world tour going everywhere with it. So, yeah, it's the goal, of course, is to help people to heal from their trauma through
Mhm.
telling my own testimonies through various characters and people that everyone can relate to. Like, everybody has a character that they can relate to, and it isn't always me. Sometimes it's one of the other characters. So, they're all telling my story, but they're breaking it down from different personalities and perspectives, and just making it so much more relatable than just if I was just there telling my story. So the goal is to help people to heal. We're breaking generational curses. We're just making it better for each generation from here on out. That's the goal.
So you've gone through all these things and you're doing a lot of work because I know it's a lot of work. How do you, why not just sit back, write the book and just let people read it? Why take it to this level?
I ask myself that all the time. Like, why am I doing this?
Lord,
Honestly,
why am I
it's
doing this?
exhausting. Especially, when I started the 9 city tour, it was like after the first city, I was like, how are we going to even get through nine of them? And now we're down to the last two.
Hmm.
So I see the bigger picture and the future of what this is already doing for people. I can't even say going to do anymore. It's already doing it. It's just going to keep going to the next level every time. And so every time I do feel like that and like, why am I even doing this? And want to kind of throw in the towel sometimes, like I
Hmm.
get a testimony, I get some feedback from a show that I'm just like I can't even make this up. Like I could not have
Hmm.
planned that. I could not have, even the way the characters all came together, like every little detail of this is like, okay, that was nothing but God because I could not do that.
Uh,
And so I wouldn't have known all these people's stories to be able to put certain parts in that fit a specific person that was going to end up there on this date in the future. It's like all of these things that only God can orchestrate. So it keeps me going and encouraged to say, okay, this is way bigger than me. I have to. Like, I feel an
right,
obligation to now, and I
right.
can't give up no matter how hard it seems sometimes. So, yeah.
So, give me an example of the testimonials that you've heard.
Oh man, there's so many. So like, and it's amazing when you start telling your own testimony. You think you're going through this alone, nobody gets it. You just don't feel like anyone can relate. And then you get someone. I'm talking about colorism in part a lot of parts of my shows because obviously I'm a black woman and I don't look it. Okay, so growing up being raised in a militant household and things like that, I talk about that experience a lot and how I experienced colorism growing up. And I don't think that too many people, except for maybe mixed people, could relate to that. But it is amazing to me how Indians and Africans and dark black, all different shades come up after, and they're like, I've had those experiences too, where I'm not comfortable in the skin I'm in. Other people judge me or say I'm this and that because of my complexion. And I'm just like, really? Like, I did not know this was so relatable. So there's some, that is just a vague like that. But then there's others that are so specific that was not even my intention. And I'll give you an example
Mm.
for that. Like there's a scene where myself and Garrett Patterson, shout out to Garrett, we actually improvised a domestic violence scene. Now that particular part was not, I went through domestic violence, but I didn't script that part to be my exact story. We just improvised that part.
Hmm.
Every
Hmm.
single time it's different. Every single time we
Wow.
improvise. And so there was one time when he actually pulled out a knife on me in the scene. I was
Mm.
not ready. I did not see that coming. And in the back of my mind, because I'm still the director, even though I'm acting right now as the actor, I thought, I did not tell him to do that. I'm gonna kick his butt when this is, I thought as the director, I'm still directing the
Like,
show,
yeah,
and I'm
wait a
like,
minute.
this is unacceptable. And so, but then I went with it. I didn't show it. I was like, just made a mental note. We're gonna talk about this
We'll just
later.
talk about
But
this
then,
later.
before I even got a chance to talk to him about it, there's an older lady. She had to been 80 something, came up to me after. And when I tell you, she said, I went through that exact same
Oh,
scenario. You guys literally just acted out my life just now, the
wow.
knife and all. So that's when I was like, okay, God, I'm not going to question you anymore. Like my people are in the vein. We're all hearing from God. And the moments we hear from, we act on it. And I want to encourage my team to do that.
Hmm.
And so, because it's from God, it always is.
Amen.
And things like that remind me, like, yeah, that was God.
Yeah.
And there's so many instances, even just throughout this few cities that we've done with this specific tour, that I can say that the show running late and me getting frustrated, thinking, oh my gosh, I'm a timely person. I got to be on time. I can't, and I'm freaking out as the director, but then having to remind myself, you know what? God knows what He's doing. Every single part of this show
Yes.
is God did it. Even if it looks bad to me at the moment. And lo and behold, by the time the show's over with, a lady stands up and says, I was running late and I couldn't, she was having difficulties getting there. She was with a walker and everything, and she said that she prayed that the show be running late so she wouldn't miss anything. And
Wow.
I knew that
Wow.
in my spirit before she even got there and testified. I knew, like, that's what made me calm down when I was getting frustrated with it running late. I'm like, no, somebody's on the way that's praying that we run late. Like I could feel that, and she confirmed it, and it was just, see, that's what I'm talking about. I can't question him with this at all. Like
No.
that's how it
No.
is. Every single show, it's always like that.
Wow. And the interesting thing about this is that there are so many people that are hurting
Yeah,
and not many are healing.
yeah, that part.
So having you to do what you do,
Mhm.
that you're being obedient
Yeah.
to what God wants you to do
Hmm.
is so phenomenal because this gives people an opportunity to realize that they're not the only ones going through this.
Right, right.
And when they realize that, then there's hope
Mm-hmm.
that they're not alone,
Right.
that they can get through this, they can heal, and that God is with them to help them. There's a
Exactly.
journey they have to take.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people that have dealt with childhood traumas, especially myself,
Mm-hmm.
in the past, I thought, why does it have to take so long?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because it's a process.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
process.
It is.
But a lot of times along that journey, they meet someone like you.
Mm-hmm.
They have an experience like one that
Mm-hmm.
you are providing to
Mm-hmm.
them, and it lets them know that someone hears them
Yeah. Yeah.
and someone loves them enough to do the work.
That's right. And it even accelerates, like you said, it takes a long time. Things like this accelerate the process a little
Yeah.
bit because it's
Yeah.
it's like ripping a band-aid off. It's so overwhelming in a lot of ways just to see and experience your traumas in front of you on stage and just know that somebody else has gone through that. Like this show is very triggering. We tell people all the
Oh,
time,
yeah.
like we have therapists in the room and counselors and pastors and people there to help us. If someone starts having a panic attack, we want to be there for them. We want to escort them out if it's necessary and things like that. And so this is really an acceleration. And like you said, it's hard to get people to actually want to heal. With this particular show, I keep it very small and intimate,
Mm-hmm.
mainly because we want each person to be seen. And if anything goes down, we want to be able to address it quickly. So if there's hundreds of people, we can't do that. So we keep this show very intimate, between 50, no more than 70 tops is where I would draw the line. At that point, I'd have to do a second show. But,
Right.
so we do that. But then even with that few amount of people, I filled up arenas before, and it's hard to get 50 people in a seat for this show because they're not ready. And so it's just, when we present what we're doing to people, they're all excited about the entertainment part. Oh, it's a one woman show. Is it music? Is it dance? Is it, oh, it's all of that. It's all of that.
Yeah.
And it's about healing from trauma. And they're like, oh, okay, well, I'll try. I'll try to get there. It's a whole different vibe when that's the case because not everybody's ready, sadly. So,
Well, and that's
yeah.
that's interesting because that's why I call my podcast "Let's Talk Boundaries,"
Yeah.
because everyone says, "Oh, I can set boundaries. Oh, I need
Hmm.
help setting boundaries,"
Yeah.
or boundaries. Okay, let's see what kind of boundaries. But then you
Hmm.
find out we're talking about the impact of unresolved childhood trauma issues
Hmm.
on your boundaries, or
Yeah.
your inability to set them,
Yeah. Yeah.
or your inability to have people honor your boundaries.
Yeah. That
So
part.
then it takes it deeper, and they're like,
Hmm.
"Oh, I didn't." And a lot of times I'll tell women when they say something, I said, that's a boundary. And they go,
Yeah.
really? That's a
Right.
boundary? Yeah. So I do the same thing. I'm
Right.
like, it's entertainment, it's this, it's lively. But then you
Exactly.
get down to the core of your
Hmm.
issues, and
Hmm.
people aren't going to automatically come to that.
Right, exactly. And that's why it's like it's the way you present it. That's why it's so important that Us3 Productions does. We're all about the message, but we're communicating it through music, through dance, through movies, through
Mhm.
books. It's like anything that this is how people communicate nowadays. This is a universal language is entertainment. We can go on and watch a movie in any language. It can just be translated to where we can understand it, but it's going to communicate to us differently than just, a pastor standing in a pulpit saying the
Ooh,
things.
say that.
So we're bringing the church to the people in a way
Yeah.
that they understand it and they're going to receive it. And then it's like all of a sudden, oh, by the way, you just experienced some healing there. That's what that
Yeah,
was. Some boundaries
exactly.
have been set.
Exactly.
That was the example of that. And they're like, oh, yeah, it makes sense. Y'all tricked
Okay.
me.
Yeah.
Y'all tricked me there.
Yeah, we tricked you. We tricked you. So tell me a little bit about the different characters and how they resonate with you personally.
There is 9 characters in the show, right? So all of them have different personalities. All of them are telling my personal story. I'll
Right.
say that, but they each break down a different part of the story. So I have one that focuses on homelessness, one that focuses on domestic violence, one that focuses specifically on divorce. They all have their own different topics that they break down. So all of them relate to me in a way, but then some of them are parts of me that maybe I say I don't necessarily want to relate to that part as much. Like, like you got Brandy over here. She seems to be everyone's favorite. I'll just call her out a little bit. Sorry to pick on Brandy, you guys. But she seems to be everyone's favorite, but she's also the part of me that I'm like, that girl, I don't know what to do with her, because she only gets tapped into when it's absolutely necessary.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of a diva. I'll tell you that about her. So Brandy has had to take herself to like the next level of pretty much conceitedness. I'm going to say that for lack of a better word, because she's had these other characters who have caused her to have this low self-esteem
Hmm.
and not been able to set boundaries and not and just, she's been down here for so long. So Brandy takes all of these characters all the way to the next level of we can't even stand her because of how she is. But
Uh-huh.
it's because they none of them have been able to get there. So she steps in. She's the Sasha Fierce, and you just love to hate her, but she's everybody's favorite at
I
the
love
same
it.
time.
I love it.
So
Yeah.
again, just all the different personalities of these characters, and the way they're able to portray the story. Some of them are funny. You've got Peggy. She talks about domestic violence. How do you talk about domestic violence and incorporate comedy at the same time? She has this
Wow.
lighthearted way of saying, I was going through this, but and now here I am, and I didn't know, but now I know, so I'm going to tell somebody else. But it was crazy when it was happening. Like all of a sudden, this lunchbox comes out of nowhere and just smacks me in my face. It's just
Yeah.
like the way she presents it though is like this country bumpkin, silly personality almost. So it's different.
How does acting out these characters, what triggers come up for you?
So I don't have triggers anymore. When I
Good.
first started the show, I definitely did. It was definitely a healing process. And so I didn't realize when I first started that there was some things that I hadn't quite healed from. I thought that,
Hmm.
oh, I've healed from all this now. I'm ready. And so going through the process of actually shooting it and then starting to do the show publicly, I was like, okay, I'm not as healed as I thought in this particular area, but I'm self-aware now. So I'm able to say, okay, this is the part that I'm going to work on some more, but I knew that even presenting it to other people and then them telling me how it was helping them was healing in itself. So I kept
Absolutely.
doing it. I didn't like stop and take a step back and say, okay, I'm going to work on this some more first and then I'll be back with you guys. Like, no, I just kept pushing through it and healing through it. So now, like, I don't know exactly at what point it was, but when I watch the show now, I'm not triggered. It's okay. I'm not triggered at all. I just I have to find a place to tap into it so that I can cry because I need to feel those things for this
Absolutely.
moment. Yeah,
Absolutely.
like I need to feel those things for this moment. I need to tap into it. I need to cry. It needs to be real. I don't do acting. I'm an actress who doesn't act at all. Like I need to experience what this character is experiencing in order for my audience to actually feel that. That's how I act. So I have to tap into the audience now.
Hmm.
And that's
Hmm.
why every single show is so different because I'm so empathetic to what they're going through. I can feel people in the audience who are resonating with certain characters. And if I happen to look at them, everything on their face is confirming what
Wow.
and I try to make eye contact with each individual, but then others I try to avoid eye contact because I can feel the energy coming from them. And I know if I look at them, it's going to confirm it. I'm going to completely break down and forget what I was saying or something, like I'm just so aware of everything that's going on in the room at one time. So like if I'm doing the domestic violence scene and I feel this energy coming from over here, like, oh, somebody, it's really, really resonating with somebody in that corner. I'll see them out of my peripherals and make a mental note to maybe talk to them later and check in with them and everything. But if I look at them, I'm gonna be like, oh, what was I saying again? I was, because I want to go hug them now. Like, so I tap
Mm-hmm.
into them enough to where I'm pulling from it. I'm bringing what I need to bring, and I'm gonna talk to them after the show. I know exactly who to talk to. And it's a whole experience from beginning to end. But if it wasn't for the audience's energy, I wouldn't be able to tap into it anymore because it's almost like I'm watching the movie backstage, like, wow, I can't believe I really went through all that. And
Yeah.
if it wasn't written in journals and have proof and pictures and everything else, I about would think it was just a whole dream that I had at some point in my
Wow.
life,
Or
because that's how,
nightmare.
yeah, exactly. It's like that's how distant it is from me at
Okay,
this point because
good.
it's,
Good.
yeah, and I've had so many life experiences since then. I've got a whole Nine Lives Part Two coming up, so
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so we got to have nine more lives just to tell all the rest of it. Life just keeps lifing.
Yeah,
But
life
yeah,
keeps life.
yeah, but I just handle things so much differently now. Like I've been through enough to know now that when things are going in a direction that I'm not comfortable with, I don't like this. This is a bad day or a storm that I'm going through, or however you want to put it. I just think, God, why are you allowing this now? I don't think like, why are you doing this to me like we normally would and I would in the past. I think like, okay, God, why are you allowing this? Like, what is
Mm-hmm.
the opportunity here
Well,
for
yeah.
me to get from this?
Right.
And that's how everything goes differently from that point on. Nothing
Right.
nothing is ever as serious as these things that I've already gone through because I don't allow it to be.
Yeah.
I learn
Okay.
from it.
That's
Yeah.
a boundary.
Yeah, that's a whole boundary
That's
for
a
myself.
whole
Like,
boundary.
yeah.
It is. You have to do those self boundaries.
Mhm.
And whenever we go through things, God equips us to go through it.
Hmm.
What we don't think about is that one part you just said,
Right.
that He's equipped us to go through the next thing
Yep.
that's coming up. But
Exactly.
oh, that you are being so obedient, you are being
Mhm.
so faithful to Him. And I just want to talk to you because one of the things that a lot of people, well, people you may not know about me is I'm a journaling practitioner. So
Okay.
I help teach people how to use different journaling styles.
Love
So
it.
when I saw your book,
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, this girl journals.
Yeah. Yeah. That
This
that was
girl,
my journal from my
this,
childhood right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you start these poems that they're beautiful? I've been kind of perusing through them and they
Mhm.
really resonate. I can feel them. I can
Mhm.
feel you writing these.
Thank
So at
you.
what age did you start to write and really realize that, you know what, I'm going to compile these into a book?
I don't know. I don't know how old I was. Because honestly, because of my childhood trauma, there's a lot of pieces missing from my memory. So I really
Mm-hmm.
can't remember back much further than like some age as a teenager. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
say maybe 16-ish,
Okay.
maybe. I don't
Wow.
really remember how old I was, but yeah, so I'm sure maybe I was journaling long before then. I don't remember, but I know as a teenager I journaled a lot, and that's when I really started taking notes. And that's where I have even a memory I have a memory box where I keep all the things that have somehow made it through being homeless so many times and all of these things. I
Mm-hmm.
keep those in there, and I have journals from that time,
Wow.
for my that some of them I actually labeled with the date. I knew better at that point to put the date so I know when this happened and everything. But a lot of the stuff got lost along the way as well.
Of course.
Um so yeah, but I've been doing this since childhood. In this particular book, I know there's one that I did in high school, a couple of
Mm-hmm.
maybe that I did in high school. You can tell they're a little more maybe violent or something,
Mm-hmm.
a little more hateful. That was me at that time. And so I'm looking forward to, as the next books come out, people seeing that growth and that transition from this
Yeah.
is basically the teenager that, I didn't publish it until an adult, but that's the teenager who wrote the book that didn't know how
Absolutely.
to publish it then. And here it is, and now the next ones are going to be trying to catch up from here on out.
Wow.
So yeah, just the growth process in my journaling, it's still so necessary. I've journaled so much since then. I could probably
Oh,
publish 50 books out of it just
absolutely.
off of my journals. But
Absolutely.
yeah, it
Absolutely.
helped. It's definitely helped me along the way,
It's very
that part of it.
therapeutic. It comes from the heart, and
Yes.
it really addresses the little girl inside of you, the one
Absolutely.
that experienced all those
Right.
traumatic things.
Exactly.
And so you have children now,
Hmm.
and I see a beautiful child sitting right there.
I
And
do.
how are your children? Now you have children that are older
Hmm.
than Rain.
Hmm.
If it's okay if I say her
No,
name
it's
right.
fine.
How are they reacting or responding to all that you're doing?
Okay, so that gets me excited too because I was, you should have started that. You didn't open up that can of worms now. Because listen, this at the end of the day, that's the number one reason, probably aside from just the simple fact God told me to do this, I'm doing it. But as far as my life on this earth, that is the number one reason
Hmm.
why I do what I do, because it's all about the next generation.
Hmm.
Like one day I'm going to be gone from here. They're going to continue this on. So I get excited when I think about that part because I'm starting to see what I've been working towards when it comes to them happen now. Like my oldest son is going to SCAD now, and he's in film school. He's literally learned more since he's been in there less than a year than I have my whole life. I've just taught myself. I didn't go to school for this. So he's going to school for it now, and to be able to carry the torch and literally take over the whole production company for me, like that's human. Like I'm
That's
seeing that
it.
happen, and I'm seeing the
Yeah.
vision. When you have a dream of something and you can only see it in your head, and then you start to see it play out. And he's sending me pictures all the time of him on set. I'm like, I see it. I've seen this before. I know this is happening. It's actually happening now. So, and him being the oldest out of eight of them, I call them the great eight. Okay. So I tell people sometimes I have three going on eight kids. So I have three that I birthed, and the rest my sisters birthed for me. So thank you, my sisters, who birthed the rest of them for me. But yeah, so there's eight of them altogether, the great eight, and I'm seeing all of their gifts happen, and how they're going to play a role in this that is going to be continuing on long after I'm gone from here. And it's just so exciting to be, I feel like I'm already a legacy. Like I'm so excited about the future of, you
Amen.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh
and
yeah.
and they're going to continue that on and helping people to heal in ways that I couldn't have even imagined doing myself. Just laying hands on people, the biblical miracles happening that don't happen nowadays. is what's going to
Mm,
happen from Us3
there you
Productions.
go.
Yeah,
There you
and I'm
go.
teaching them that now, and they're so powerful already. Even the littlest ones at their little ages. I'll give you an example. This one over here that I'm gonna have to snap at again because sit still. So little Johnny today, he or well, this was yesterday. There was a storm rolling in, and I've always taught them like we're supposed to with our kids. By the way, parent note to parents out there,
Mm,
the Bible says that we can speak to a mountain and it will move.
yes.
Yet, as we grow up and we're taught that, oh, only to an extent that, we put limitations to that, right?
Mhm.
So I teach them to believe exactly what that says. If a mountain is that big, then that means that anything you can speak to, you can move, you can make it happen, you can make these things happen, right? So I've been giving them an example when it comes to storms.
Hmm.
When we have plans to go to Six Flags or whatever, we have outdoor plans and there's a storm coming. It can be 100% chance of a storm. You can literally see the storm cloud coming in. And I will tell those kids, what does the Bible say that you can do? If you don't want it to storm, then you tell that
Tell
storm to
it.
get up out of
Tell
here.
it.
And they do it. I've watched them blow the storm away. I watched them say, get up. And so Johnny did that yesterday. He was like, it was a storm starting to come in, and he's like, Storm, you get out of here, Storm. And he immediately turns around before he even waited for the storm to react. This is how we're supposed to be, y'all, when it comes to our faith. Like
Yes.
from the mouth of babes. He said, go, Storm, get out of here. I did it. Yay. Yeah. He turns
Yes.
to me and like immediately
Yes.
I did it before he even waited to see how that storm was going to react. And yes, he did do it, by the way. And yes, he was just like, yay, I did it. Like he's excited about that's what we have as children. And somehow over time with the experiences that we've had, and we go through life and we realize it doesn't always go exactly our way. We have to learn to trust that yes, God said we can do this, but sometimes he knows what's best for us.
Yes, it does.
Sometimes it needs to storm to stop us from getting out there and getting in this accident or whatever he sees that we don't see. We have to understand that part too. So, but just to never lose that powerful faith. Imagine how powerful they're going to be by the time
Mm,
they're grown if we continue to teach them that what the Bible says is actually real and you can do that. You can do all things through Christ who gives you strength, not just a little bit of some of the things like we eventually teach our children through religion.
yeah.
so it's
Oh, don't. Yeah. Don't
so
even go
it's
there
yeah,
with
no, I
me.
can get
Oh,
you
God.
off on a tangent on that
Oh.
one, but that's what it's all about. It's like they're going to be so powerful. So when I say laying hands on people, healing the sick, raising the dead, these are the things that I expect from this production company, from our projects that come, and from the Great Eight, and everybody
Yes.
that they influence is to be like them. Like it's gonna be amazing and miraculous, and I'm just excited. And mark my words, y'all heard it here. When you start to see it happen, it's going down.
And you know what? This helps people to understand that the things I go through are for a reason. You are a
hmm
living testimony
Absolutely.
to what happens when you persevere,
hmm
when you work to
hmm
do the healing,
Yeah.
and when you realize what's most important, and
hmm
that's those great eight.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I can't wait to
Yes.
hear, and I'm marking your word
Right.
because I'm going to be following and
Yeah.
seeing what they're doing because too many
Absolutely.
people don't believe in the power that God has placed
hmm
within them.
Yes.
And Johnny just realized the power that is placed
hmm
within
He
him.
knows it.
And we can't minimize that at
Exactly.
all.
Yep.
So tell me about what now for you.
Oh man, there's so much coming up. I get so excited just thinking about it. But I'm focused on the show right now, The Nine Lives. We got to get through that because I'm only human. I can only handle so much at once. I have to remind myself sometimes. Oh yeah, I am human. I got to eat and
Oh
sleep
yeah,
and
you are.
stuff. But so Nine Lives. We have the 9 city tour, and we're already through 7 of them. So we have 2 cities left, and that's Boston and Bowling Green, Kentucky. So again, earlier I mentioned that when we started this off, I was like, we finished the first tour, and I'm like, how in the world are we gonna get through 9? Now we're down to the last
See?
2, and I'm
Look at
like,
you.
2 more left. What am I going to do
What are
after
we
that?
gonna
What am I going to do with myself? So we have 2 cities left on the 9 city tour. So I'm focusing on that right now. We're going to finish strong with Bowling Green and Boston. And then I have several more books coming out.
do? Good.
I will be dropping dates at some point. So I just encourage people to just stay connected with me virtually and through email and text. So they'll be the first ones to know when those books are coming out and get pre-released and all that stuff. And then of course, shows, movies. There's so many amazing things that I can't give all the
Good,
details
good,
for
good. That's
yet,
okay.
but
That's
just know
okay.
there's a lot coming. We're
It's
not
a
stopping. We're not
lot.
stopping.
It's a
We're just
lot.
beginning.
And even though you have a one woman show, we all know that you can't do it alone. No.
Absolutely not.
To God be the glory, but
Yes.
tell us a little bit about your team
Oh
and the
my gosh.
adventures that you have gone on together.
Man, sometimes I feel like I'm wearing them out, but
They may
but
agree.
I'm so yes, I'm so grateful for my team. That God just sends people that's able to get keep up with me, that's able to get with me and keep up with me and hang in there and be strong because we do go through some things. But if it wasn't for my assistant, Nice, I wouldn't be sitting here right now because she schedules all my
Shout out.
interviews.
Shout out
But
to
yeah, she's
you.
like always on it, and I
Yes,
get
she
so many
is.
compliments about her. She's on it and she's nice at the same time. See, I have a problem with that sometimes. I'm on it and I come across as bossy, but it's because I'm on it. I'm on too many things. Okay, so sometimes I tell Nice, I'll be like, okay, say this to them, like I want her how I want her to respond, but then translate that nicely, like like she translates. So she's
That's
amazing.
good. She
But yes,
is.
nice. Shout out to Garrett, Demaria, our director of photography. Joy, shout out to her. There's so many of them. Candace, Janita. I hate to name drop because there's so many. I don't want to forget
Right,
anybody,
right,
but all of my
right.
amazing team, Sunshine, y'all are all amazing. They are all across the country and they travel from far and wide to be a part of this production. And if they can't be there physically, they're always helping virtually. So that they're what's helping it grow. I feel like sometimes I relate it to Jesus and his 12 disciples and
Yes,
how he
yes.
had to have those people there with him to keep him strong and keep him, what is the word that I'm looking for? Jeez, I lost that train of thought.
Grounded.
No, it's not even that. To like hold him accountable. That's what
Okay,
it is.
okay,
And I was
okay.
gonna say, I guarantee if I look at this, Nice is probably gonna know exactly what I'm thinking, and I don't even know half the time. So that's the type of people that God sends to me, and and yeah, to hold me accountable and keep me going, and not throwing in the towel, and just lifting my hands up when it's necessary, and I'm just so grateful for them. I can't talk about them without getting emotional because
No.
it's just amazing. Like, I don't expect, there's people that come and go through this company all the time, and then there's ones that stay strong through it all. And I know that are going to be there in the end when I'm up there on the stage winning my Oscar and they only want me to come up and I'm be like, no, I'm gonna have to bring these ones up
Bring
with
them.
me. I'm
I got to
sorry.
bring
I'm
my
bringing them
tribe with
up because
me.
I couldn't
Yeah,
be here without them,
yeah.
So yeah, they're amazing. So shout out to the Us3 Productions team.
And I am sure that you are quite a blessing to them, that you inspire them. And I'm sure there's a lot of things that they're going to be doing as a result of what you have
Absolutely.
had fed into them. I
Absolutely.
have no
And
doubt.
I love to see my team winning. So
Yes, you can tell. You
yeah.
can tell. I just think it's important that the reviews, just the
Yes.
testimonials from the people
And I
that
haven't
have
even posted
been,
all of them
oh
yet.
my
I feel
God.
so bad because we record reviews every show. We record a bunch of reviews, but we don't get to edit them and post them as quickly as it's like as soon as we turn around, it's time to get ready for another
Right,
show.
right, right.
So that's why I said we need more team members. We need people who can edit. We need people who like have some skills that can join the team and help us with this because we're behind. So by the time the whole tour is over, we're going to be releasing we're going to be releasing interviews and reviews for
Right,
months and
right.
probably a year before the next show.
Right, but that's okay
Yeah.
because then when people see it, they realize that, oh, we need to have you back because you
Hmm.
want to do this show again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you want to
Sure. And
go,
another show. I have other shows that are even
yeah,
bigger than, yeah.
yeah. What's the one thing that, of all that you've
Hmm.
experienced and all that you want to do, what's the one thing that you can say that you're most proud of and the one thing that you really want to do moving forward?
Is that two different
Yeah,
questions?
two different.
Okay. So the thing I'm most proud of is this nine city tour, the Nine Lives World Tour. Oh, it's hard to decide because I mean, obviously the book and the show goes together. So I'm most
Right.
proud of the book because it was the first time I said, okay, I'm telling this, and I took away. When you talk about boundaries, I was not able to set those before. I was a people pleaser, not anymore.
No.
and and so just to be able to tell my story without worried about what everybody else was going to think,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
the first step to that.
Hmm.
So I'm proud of that. But then to take it to the next level and then the show, and this is the first time I feel like I'm really walking in the authority that God gave me. And he keeps showing me more and more and downloading more, I want to say, power into me to
Yes, yes,
go boldly. And I'm
yes.
just, so that's why I'm most proud of that
Hmm.
project. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so just to take not just that show, but everything to the next level, we're going to be working with some humongous names
Hmm.
in the industry that don't even know we're coming yet. And so I'm
Hmm.
excited about them. Like I feel like they know, but they don't know who yet. And so when they see me and then I speak to them and they're gonna know and they're gonna be like, oh, whether it was a dream or whatever it is that they know in their spirit, it's some supernatural things about to take place, not
Amen.
just with the show, but
Amen.
everything that we're doing. So I'm so excited about all of that.
That's
All of it
good.
is
That's
coming.
good. Well, I am so proud of you for what you're doing. There's a lot of women who experience traumas
Mhm.
and they become victims to
Yeah.
it and they
Yeah.
don't allow themselves to see what God truly has for them.
That part.
And you were looking at a true example of realizing that, you know what, I went through this for a reason, but
Yes.
it wasn't for me.
Absolutely.
And to leave a legacy is paramount because the one thing we know about Vitale is that she's a warrior and she is going to do what God tells her to do. She
Period.
is obedient. She's going to do that. And also understand that if you go and you see her show, that you are going to get touched in some areas that you may not have even thought you could get touched in. But you know what's the most important thing? You're going to be healed.
Amen.
So if you are in the Bowling Green, Kentucky area on the dates that
June 28th is Bowling Green and June 7th is Boston.
Boston,
Two more
Massachusetts, you're
days.
going way up there.
Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, you're going way up
Don't
there.
remind me.
But so
Thanks.
if you got get a chance, men, woman, just make sure that you were there and
Yes.
tell other people about it. Bring other people about with you,
Mhm.
and I'm going to give you the links that you can find out how to be a part of that. And in the meantime, you guys take a look at Vitelle and all that she's doing and support her on this because you support her, you will be blessed because this woman definitely has God in her
Thank
and
you.
on her all over her.
It's divided.
So yeah, any parting words that you have?
Man, I'm just so excited to be here. I can't stop smiling. It's over already. This is the final one. But yeah, I'm so grateful to be here. And I just want to encourage everybody, if God's put a word on your heart, if he's put a mission in your soul, just start doing it. Don't make any excuse of, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, or
Mm,
whatever it is. If he's called you to do it, he's going to provide whatever it is that you need. And you just start taking those steps forward, even if it seems like little baby steps at first. Hey, do not despise small beginnings. Just start moving forward in it, and he's going to blow it up to the extent that it needs to be. Just do it. That's all I can say.
absolutely.
It's like Nike. Just do it. Just
Just
show
do
up and
it.
do it, and just you be surprised of what God can do if you
Amen.
just say yes.
That's
That's all I
right.
got.
That's right. And everything that you've done, it hasn't happened overnight. It's taken a while. And
Absolutely.
I always think about Jesus when they say that Jesus places a light under your feet. Understand that that light is more like just a candlelight. It's a
Hmm.
flicker. So
Yes.
don't expect some broad light like the
Hmm.
lights we have
Hmm.
here because it's not going to happen.
Hmm.
Your trust in him in taking you to where he needs you to go
Yes.
into your journey on healing is
Hmm.
what's the most important thing for you. So
Hmm.
trust in the Lord with all your heart.
That's
And
right.
don't, like it says, don't lean on thy own understanding. Don't be trying to
Hmm.
figure stuff out on your own.
Please don't.
Mm-mm.
Please don't. I was
No.
just saying that the other. Can I give an example of that because you just reminded me? So the other day, and this is a miracle to me. This is a modern day miracle. I'm going to say this. Long story short, my car insurance had shot up to like 480 something dollars. And when I saw that it was about to pull out that automatically, I was like, oh no, the devil
Mm-mm.
is a liar. Like, we got to
It's
fix
a
this.
liar.
Right? So I called Progressive. I'm trying to pull some strings and see what the heck is going on, and y'all fix it, else I'm going to somebody else, right? So
Mhm.
my insurance guy, Brent, shout out to Brent, he had already tried pulling some strings. And at the end of the day, I had been in an accident. My wheel came off of my car. Nothing of my fault, but they put it as an at fault accident. Nothing we could do about that, right? So they said that I had to have a police report or something in order to change that. They wouldn't change it. Long story
Wow.
short, I'm the one that when I called, I was like, okay, somebody need to change something. But I got disconnected. Even though I got disconnected and nobody had changed or done anything, I was like, oh, well, I'm just leaving God's hand now. I called, I did my part. We'll see what happens.
Right.
By the time Brent calls back, he puts the Progressive people on three-way and he's like, hey, we're just calling to see if we can do something about this now. And she pulls it up and she says, oh, it looks like they changed it from a at fault accident to a no fault
Mhm.
accident. And I was like, so I'm over here already grinning, ready to rejoice because I know what it is. I
Yeah,
already know.
exactly.
You got
I
to
know who
tell
did
me,
that.
like, of
That's
course
right.
they did. Bye, thank you, click. That's me. I ain't gonna ask no questions. But Brent, he was like, well, hold on, what you mean they changed? He started
It's okay,
questioning.
Brad. It's okay.
Right. And I'm listening for a minute because that's exactly what I would have done back in the day. Is not where I'm
Right.
at now, but
Right.
normally we're gonna ask like, how could this happen? That's the first thing that we think, as humans. And she's like, I don't know, but it looks like whenever she called this morning, it shows that she called at 11 something, and it's been changed ever since then. I can't even see who changed it. I don't know how to change it. I don't know what. I know who did it. Thank you. That's enough. And so
Trust. Oh
yeah,
my
it's like
God.
so, but it's normal. I use Sprint as an example. I love it. I love that he did this. This is nothing bad because this is so human.
Right.
Like of all of us to
Right.
do this, right? And that's a perfect example of like we got to stop questioning God because you start digging too deep, they'd have been done changed it back and be like somebody made a mistake. Let me change it back. Like, but my insurance dropped from 480 to 209.
Amen.
Hello, amen, somebody.
Amen.
And I was like,
Amen.
I can handle that. Thank you. That sounds better. That sounds more realistic because this is crazy. But yeah, God did that, and I didn't have to question. I just was like, thank you, Jesus. I was praising God the whole
There
rest of
you
the day
go. There you
because that's
go.
that's what He'll do. And these are the things that we experience more of these little miracles, or as we call them, miracle moments. Shout out to
Hmm.
Nice and Miracle Moments.
Hmm.
We experience more of these when we accept that that's what it is and
That's
say, okay, thank you,
exactly.
God, and stop questioning it and
Exactly.
worry about it and just let Him have it, and He'll keep on performing more of those.
Yes, he
And
does
yes,
because he wants to please you.
exactly.
He wants to love on you. Let
Hmm.
him love on you.
Yep.
I'm so excited. I'm
Hmm.
so pleased that you came here to me. Guys, this is my
Yeah.
very first in-person podcast episode
Yeah.
and I got to have it with Vitelle.
Yeah.
So thank you, Vitelle, for
Yeah.
being
I'm so
here.
glad to be the first. We're making
Yes, yes,
history.
yes.
We're making
Making
history.
history. One of many more.
Yes,
One of many
for
more. And I'm
sure.
so inspired
Hmm.
because all the things that you've gone through and you persevered and you said, no, devil, you ain't having that.
Hmm.
You ain't having that.
Exactly.
I'm going to honor God
Hmm.
through everything that I've been through.
Period.
So I thank you for
Hmm.
that.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
All right. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to Let's Talk Boundaries. And because you don't want to miss any of the episodes, because you just might be the one that you need to hear. And this is Pamela Bird, your boundaries coach. And let's talk boundaries, shall we?